Hey guys, MC Mura here, and today is a patch day. Today is the 17th. Capcom just dropped Alex for Street Fighter 6, and with him comes a balance patch that addresses every character in the game. And we're starting first with Ryu and Viper. But before we cover these two guys, I first need to talk about some of the universal changes that are gonna affect every character in the roster. So one thing that Capcom did is that they increased the window to do a wake-up attack. So say that Ryu knocks me down, now I have more time to input this. There's more buffer, so it should be easier if you have any issue timing, wake up reversal, wake up attacks. It should be a little bit easier, which, you know, that's alright. The second change is actually a pretty big one, and it's a change to universal overheads. Universal overheads or overheads in general are very powerful in this game, especially because of drive rush. Like, you get a drive rush, you're gonna have, like, most characters are gonna have like a combo into medium that's gonna let them do like really big damage. Like, that's a lot. Ryu especially had like an egregious one because he gets like a heavy. So they didn't add scaling, which is what I want, right? I wanted this next hit, instead of doing the 100, to do like 90 or 70. The controller, the wire is losing its mind. So they didn't add scaling. Instead, what they did is that they targeted the frame advantage and the situation on block. So what's gonna happen now, say Ryu, which again had one of the best overheads in the game, he would drive rush overhead and it would now be only +1 on block because they made all overheads -3 at best, right? So overheads -3, so you drive rush, it's only gonna be +1 on block. And if you notice this, there is more pushback as well. Like, Ryu is left further, so he can't really pressure you with a grab. He can't even get like a low kick into a button. Like, he can't go for a crouching light kick, light punch. So the situation is considerably weaker, right? And this is a universal change. Like, if we talked about Viper, it's gonna be the same thing as well. She used to be in throw range, now not anymore. Again, not gonna get like a light kick into whatever. So it's a significantly weaker situation. That's a good change, right? I wish they targeted the scaling as well, because overheads can lead to massive damage, but the reward on overheads being plus on block and suffocating you, beside other characters having like drive rush lows as well, like Viper, she's gonna get a +4 on that and used to be in throw range after overheads, which was really good. Another universal change they did is to drive rush, and it's not what you'd expect. Pretty much one of the things about this game is that during the drive rush there is a screen freeze, right? And they made it so that up will finally come out. In the prior patches, if you pressed up, you couldn't jump. Like, the Ryu drive rush here would eat my input so that this upwards wouldn't give me a jump, and this is something that I really felt. I would say especially with Viper, there is a reason I picked these two guys, especially since Viper, I would try to do stuff like insta-air burn kick, and because this requires an up input, if the opponent happens to randomly drive rush, Viper would just stand there and then I would get hit. So this is a fix that I think overall is pretty decent. That is pretty cool. Now, they did add another change to some of the inputs so that there is more consistency. I didn't really get to test this one, never really noticed like moves like Guile Sonic Puncher coming out overdrive impact or drive reversal. Maybe if it was something that's specific to your character that you know about, that would be cool, but yeah. For now, these are the universal changes. Now, let's cover what happened to Ryu, because Ryu was really strong. And Capcom did nerf Ryu a little bit in this patch, but I still think he's gonna be really good. And he got actually pretty good buff with it as well. So the first change is to his standing medium punch, and as you can see here, standing medium punch now have 13 recovery frames on whiff. This used to have 11 recovery frames. Now 13 recovery frames for medium, that is still tremendous. So the move should be like slightly easier to whiff punish, but still it's 22 total frames, so still really good. 13 frames for medium, that is still really good. Obviously this is not like a footsie's normal, this is more of a pressure normal, so you don't see Ryu players throwing it out anyways, but that's a good change. Change to Ryu is to his crouching heavy punch, and this is a small change, but they pretty much made it so that the first hit has the same hitbox as the second. This move has 6 active frames, but I believe only the first 3 are cancelable, so there's a little bit better hitbox now when you're trying to use this in combos. I haven't really tried this out to see like what effect this will have. Maybe there will be some very specific combos that didn't used to be super consistent but is now consistent. Not really sure. Not really sure about that one. Next up is a change that was really big, and that's a change to solar plexus. Pretty much what happens, what they done is that now you can back walk out of this. See this? As Viper, I'm now able to back walk. Hallelujah, because this move was extremely strong. It used to have proximity block on frame 1, so you couldn't really back walk out of his range, and it's still like if he's doing it relatively close like that, you will be stuck because the move have decently long range, but from the mid range, I mean, you can walk now. So this actually is a really big change. Like, Solar Plexus was a gigantic part of Ryu's neutral in this patch. It was one of the most oppressive moves in the game. So now the fact that you actually can back walk out of it, that actually is a really cool change. Next up is a change to Overdrive Shoryuken, and they pretty much giving it a little bit more range when used in combos. What this is trying to say is that when you're doing stuff like, say, like crouching ninja punch into OD Shoryuken or whatever, I'm not gonna get it. Oh my god, Mura! What happened to your execution? So it should have a little bit more range in cancels and whatever, so it's a little bit more consistent. I don't see Ryu players doing that often, to be honest, but maybe prior that would have whiffed. Obviously they increase the range on the first hit so that you are getting like the full damage, so that is pretty cool. They also gave Ryu a buff, which I think is cool enough. It's a buff to his this turret combo, heavy punch into heavy kick, right? So this now, they are knocked down for more. So like the dungeon buff now, he's plus 10, so that is good. But also it juggles a little bit higher. So it's like, say that we're in the corner, Ryu is gonna be able to follow with an uppercut. Like he gets a medium or a light uppercut. Obviously EX as well. So that's a big buff, and I think this is gonna impact some things. Like maybe I'm pretty sure you can get this now, which is really good damage. Say that we got right. So that's not bad. We need to test his routing, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like maximum meterless damage from DI. That is 2.8, 2.9k from a DI. That's pretty good, right? I think that's pretty good. Obviously gonna have even more time on that now, but yeah. Can you get a super here? You'll probably be able to. Hadouken, yeah. That's pretty cool. And I think especially in some situations, like even in like the meter dump situations where you're going for that, right? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Obviously if you had level 3, Ryu only here got 2 bars, so if you have level 3s that could be even better. So that's a decent buff. We're gonna have to test out like his max damage combos, see what changed with that. But that seems to me like it could be like a pretty cool change. Next up, and that is the final change, is a change to his Hashogeki, and this is particularly on block, so that it does less drive damage, and as you can see, it barely does any drive shiv now. And obviously this move is great because you can just throw it out there, and this is totally safe on block, and if you happen to get the hit, it's easy to like hit confirm. So that is really good. But what this is mostly gonna impact is the changes they done to burnout, where now if the opponent is in burnout, this have more pushback. So point blank, Ryu used to get 3 reps, right? But now you're not gonna get you're not gonna be in range to get the third Hashogeki or the third jab to connect. So this slightly nerfs his burnout pressure, but still he's getting two of them. He still can throw. Let's I don't play everything. He's still gonna get like the yeah, I mean, I guess with the increased pushback, it's gonna mess around with his burnout pressure a little bit, so that the burnout pressure could be a little bit more manageable. So overall, Ryu certainly did get some nerfs. I will say the change to solar plexus especially is gonna affect him especially in the intermediate level of play, and even on high level. Like even in Punk videos, you saw Punk bullying everyone with this. So now the fact that you can actually backwalk out of it, that is gonna have an impact. The other changes are not that consequential, but overall, I mean, I guess the overhead is gonna impact as well. So overall, nerfed, but I still think Ryu is gonna be a very, very strong character. Now let's talk about C Viper, my waifu, my main, because C Viper, as Jin used to say in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, she's gonna show you fear, because Viper is looking kinda ridiculous. Finally it worked out in my favor, finally. So what happened? Well, they buffed her really, really big. So the first change is to her standing heavy punch. This used to be a -3, now it's -2. So what this does is that when Viper does the Thunder Knuckle feint like that, it's gonna be +1 on block. Now this is +1 on block. That's actually really, really insane. Obviously, this move have a ton of range, and it used to leave Viper at 0, which was okay, but it would force a trade, or she would have to play off of a spacing trap. But now at +1, this is gonna make her approach game and pressure game much more intimidating, and obviously being able to ship you and all of that. And the thing with this move is that heavy punch into feint is +6, so this is +6 on hit and +1 on block, which is that's really, really cool. So the second change have got to do with Viper standing heavy kick, and this is a pretty big buff in my opinion. They pretty much made the juggles better for this move, and what this means is that mid-screen, you're gonna have easier time getting the heavy kick here into level 1. This was a very inconsistent combo mid-screen because it required like 1 frame micro walk and it was really hard. But now if you juggled with the heavy kick, aerial thunder knuckle or burning kick, you can get it. But what this really, really affects is the corner, right? Because in the corner, one of the bigger meter dump combos for Viper was doing heavy kick into the OD area grounded burn kick, which this combo is really, really hard. But what they changed is that now in the corner, you can do heavy kick into the OD thunder knuckle, right? So you can do that now, which is gonna actually lead to more damage and it's substantially easier. I'm holding the controller in a different grip because of the recording, so my execution isn't like the typical execution, but yeah, now this works, which is much easier than what you used to get prior. This is much, much, much easier than the OD grounded burn kick, and it does more damage. Right, because I believe this actually does 2.5, where getting the grounded version used to do 2.4. So you're getting more damage and it's easier. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. That is a huge buff. Next one, and this was by far the worst problem with Viper, her crouching medium punch. This now have 4 active frames and more range. One of the biggest issues with Viper was checking drive rush. Oh my god, I got hit the first time. But now, because this have 1 more active frame, because this have a little bit more range, you should have more time. More active frames on crouching medium, which got a pretty good disjoint. I will say that is really, really cool. Next up is a consistency change, and it's a change to her heavy thunder knuckle follow-ups, because apparently, actually this was the change. Like what you just saw, where the follow-up whiffed, this was a change. It should be more consistent, but that still happens sometimes, which is I don't know. Like, this still is prone to happening when you happen to hit them at like the apex of the jump. So it seems that they expanded the collision box so that this should be more consistent, but it still happens. It doesn't happen that much, if I'm being honest, because typically like you're using this move when they jump forward, right? So it's like they wouldn't be that high, but still this is an issue. It doesn't seem to me like it actually got fixed that much. Now, this next couple of changes are really big. They made aerial insta-air burn kick plus on block. So the heavy version is still minus. That was the one that goes full screen, that is still minus, but the medium is actually +1, and the light is gonna be +1 as well. And this is huge because, like, say that you are respecting Viper pressure, she can do something like this and maintain and actually be plus and get in. Obviously this have massive gaps in it, but that move being plus on block is actually huge, and you can use this one to manipulate your jumping as well, especially doing like a shallow medium version. That was really cool. So now you're getting even more plus frames. Now if you happen to cross up, this is still the medium was always 0, so this is still 0, but it is plus on block on a front blocking aerial burn kick. This is huge, especially in this mid-range where this move is actually viable. That's a huge buff for Viper. Another huge buff for Viper, which I actually can't believe that they did this, is a change to her level 1 super. So Viper level 1 super had a downside in where it's a timer, and as the timer is on, Viper is unable to gain super meter. So what they done is that when you have the buff on, when you have the level 1 buff, if you're doing the extensions, you are gaining drive meter with them. So typically when I'm doing that, take a look at the bar over there, by the way. Each time I'm doing one of the extension, Viper is getting more drive gauge. Like, instead of that, posting 1 bar, which is typically what you do outside of the buff, now with the level 1 buff, it gives you back 1 bar, which that is really cool. With the change to the heavy kick into the level 1, and with the change, it seems like in general they want to incentivize Viper to go for level 1 more often, because even if you're not gaining super meter, you're gaining more drive, and more drive is gonna let you go for like insta air OD burn kick, which is plus on block, so she can have more pressure even. And the final change to Viper is a quality of life change, and it's a change to her level 2 super. They pretty much made it more consistent, and one of the things with level 2's Viper is that you would do it with a fireball backwards motion, right? So sometimes, let's actually turn off the buff. So sometimes with Viper, you wanted to do, say, like a heavy punch into feint, but the input reader would give you level 2 super. So they pretty much adjusted that so that it doesn't happen as often, and they increase the vertical hitbox so that it should be more consistent in combos. I personally never seen it drop. Like, I never seen it drop in situations like that, but what they're saying is that they adjusted it, and they also said they adjusted like the anti-air capabilities of it. So I want to see like how good is that right now, maybe, but pretty much like why would you do that if you could do like I think I used this like once or twice ever since Viper came out.